Hey Charlie, how you doing out there? I'm sending you the recipe, but I'm gonna make the recipe right now in front here so that you can see what I'm doing, okay? Make sure you have all the ingredients you're gonna need out before you start and ready, because it has to be done quickly, okay? First thing we do, we're gonna take 4 cups of sugar. We're gonna put it in the 2-quart saucepan. It's got to be a deep one because it's going to get real rocky. All right. Then we get our tablespoon. And we're going to put 6 tablespoons of cocoa powder. It's unsweetened. Don't try to taste it. It's gross. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. This is not a written recipe. When Mom used to do this, it was just something that she would just do out of the top of her head. She would guesstimate everything. I'm just mixing the cocoa powder and the sugar together before I do the rest. And nothing's on. And if you hear a voice in the background, that's Liz. All right. Then I take a couple of tablespoons of margarine or butter. You notice I guesstimated that. And the milk.
1 cup.
1 cup of milk, give or take. Sometimes you need a little less. Then I turn the front burner on high. And I start mixing it up. As it starts heating, it's going to turn into right now it's a lumpy mass, but it's going to get smooth. And it'll boil after a few. Yeek! There we go. You can mix it up before it gets hot, and it'll get smooth. I have a few things here. The peanut butter and the marshmallow, I'm not going to use the whole container. I'm only going to use a half a container of both. And I think I wrote 8 ounces. That's like the size of the small containers. If you use those, use the whole container. Right now, I'm just saying, you have to stir it constantly. Here, listen. Because if you don't, it'll burn on the bottom. It'll ruin the whole batch. Right now it's not hot enough, so we're going to let it sit. It'll start bubbling in a minute. You're going to have to do this real quick, okay? So I'll explain it to you, and hopefully you'll get it. When it boils, you're going to let it cook for a bit. You're going to test it. You're going to take a little bit of the chocolate. You're going to put it in a container with cold water. You're going to see if you can form a ball with it. If you can't form a ball, it's not done. Cook it down a little more. But eventually you'll be able to make a ball. A soft one, not a too firm a ball, but a soft ball. The minute you start noticing it's making it, you're ready. You'll take it off the burner. You'll move it over. You'll put the peanut butter, the marshmallow. You just start beating it right in. You got to do this all in one shot. I also mentioned in it that you got to make sure your pan is ready. I use this. I use a pan this size. I'm not even sure what size it is. Looks like a 9x6. But I use that. You can use the 8x8 cake pan.
Make sure it's greased.
And make sure it's greased, or you'll be eating that fudge right outside of right out of the container because it won't come out on its own. You'll have to break it out. Everything hardens fast. This here is already turned to soup. And it's going to bubble up. It's going to look like molten lava, and it does splatter. You have to be a little careful. It will burn if it hits you. When you get it done, when it's ready to go, you move it off the heat. You put the marshmallow, the peanut butter, start beating it in, put a teaspoon of vanilla extract. You're going to see it's going to bubble right up. You beat it until it's as smooth as you think you can get it, and then you pour it right into the pan. If you wait too long, it's going to be too thick coming out. It won't fall into the pan right. And if you do it too soon, ask Elizabeth. She'll tell you what happens if you don't let it go too soon. It turns into mush. But we'll do this here. This is going to take about 5 minutes to let it go. Want to wish you a Merry Christmas while we're here. A package should be there soon. If not already, you should get this today. Okay? Like I said, when it's done, you're going to move it over to the side off the heat. You're going to mix the marshmallow, the peanut butter, and the vanilla extract. You're going to beat it up really fast, really good. Try to get that, because the marshmallow is the toughest. It doesn't break down as easy. If you don't mind a little chunks of marshmallow in your fudge, it ain't going to hurt you a bit.
Does it matter what goes first, marshmallow or peanut butter?
I usually put in the peanut butter first because the peanut butter goes in easier. The marshmallow is a little, it's harder to get it off the spoon. But the peanut butter gets off there easy. All right. I'm waiting for it to bubble. And as it bubbles, it rises up. You can turn the heat down. When it starts boiling, turn the heat down. Okay? Do it to about medium. So it's still bubbling, but it's not boiling over the top of the pot. Right now, it's just soup. And it'll look like soup when it's ready, too. It'll look the same, but it'll ball up inside the little container here. Let's see. I'm going to shut it off. I'm going to make a second video after it's boiling and we're going. Okay, Charlie?